I stepped out of the elevator and made my way to the door. I fumbled for the key. Taking a deep breath, I tried to relieve the tension in my body. I unlocked the door. The space was eerily quiet. I threw off my raincoat, kicked off my office shoes, and stepped on the smooth, silky Persian rug, my bare feet finding some grounding in its familiar texture. I scanned the apartment. The late afternoon rays of sunshine reverberated across the open living room. On the entrance table, a business card from her favorite Lebanese, La Sirène. You know it. Yes. And a movie stub from 2 nights before caught my eye. The stack of books on Italian artist Amedeo Modigliani and her accompanying notes in spirited blue handwriting lay on the dining table. She had been furiously preparing to give tours at the upcoming retrospective on the artist at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts. I wandered to the kitchen. I found the familiar box of Italian panettone, bought each year with glee during Christmas time. She would keep the box into the spring as a joyful reminder of her days as a student in Italy. Next to it, a bag of black licorice. Only the British kind would do. Bought at the little confectioner stand behind Harrods on her last visit to see her sister in London. Those sweet, salty, textured nubs were hard now, but as I picked up the bag and inhaled, I could still detect their pungent flavor. I looked around, dazed. I could still imagine her standing at the counter while we chatted. She was cooking. We would talk about the latest Broadway show, trendy restaurant, and how I was managing with my new job. All the while, she would be cooking the most delicious dishes. No recipe, just elegant movement. Bit of this, bit of that, taste. Bit of this, taste. It looked like nothing, so simple. And then she would serve this plate of heaven. The smell, the taste, the artful presentation. In her hands, even an omelet was divine. I opened the fridge, the bright light jolting me out of my reverie. Nothing much there except bottles and jars. Fresh fruits and vegetables would be bought as they were needed. And the last few days, she really wasn't cooking very much. Shutting the fridge door, I ventured into the freezer. The coolness like an abrupt halt. And there I saw it, the green large container. It looked like green and brown mush, and yet it held the most complex mix of flavors one could imagine. I recalled our phone conversation from 2 weeks before, from my tiny apartment in New York. She had been preparing the dish for a dinner party and had promised to keep some for me on my next trip back. I removed the container from the freezer. I cracked open the lid. The aroma consumed me. Korme sabzi, again. The soul-warming national dish from Iran. She was known for it among family and friends. Its distinct color and texture, tart, dried green limes, smooth red kidney beans, fresh herbs mixed in a stew with chunks of meat, brought me back to her stories of her childhood in the bustling streets of Tehran. Many years have passed since that day. She's still beautiful in all the photographs, smiling, never aging, never changing. Her designer clothes in my closet are now a little frayed, less than the perfect vintage condition they should be. Her mirror collection, furniture, and Asian objets d'art are a little dated. Her sapphire ring, a little too much for my hand. When I moved back to Montreal after more than 2 decades away, I was really conscious about replicating her life. I didn't want to, but then I sort of did. Walking the same steps, frequenting the same haunts, it seemed like a lot of time was spent trying to recover, remember, connect. I still find myself walking to every new Persian grocery store just to enjoy the smells. I never quite know what I'm looking for as I try and decipher the elegant Persian calligraphy on every box or jar. I'm drawn to anything made with sweet rosewater, orange blossom, heartwarming cardamom, tamarind, saffron, and apricots. Like her signature black tea, these tastes are strangely comforting. On weekends, I can be found at travels together across Europe on the search for the perfect biscotti, gelato, pasta neri, or steak au poivre. I never leave without a bag of fennel turali, those crunchy olive oil knots, and a hunk of padano. Now, I'm not sure if those turalis were her obsession or newly mine, but I attribute everything to her, as I found it tastes even better that way. Her path, my path, then takes me to Cafe Italia for a cappuccino at the bar. I'm grateful, as it's one of the few places that hasn't changed much. And quite suddenly, I find myself approaching her age. I see it. It's right there. And while I believe that I've built my own life, well, I'm building it, I fall into hers so easily. It fits like a glove. Indeed, I've appropriated much of her, and combined with my own traits and experiences, it's finally starting to feel authentically me. Her antiques mix with my modern. Her mirror collection is scattered in different areas of our home. And I'm now at the age where the ring, she fits. And the taste she loves and the dishes she loved, I've made those mine too. They're not as delicious as I remember when she made them, but they're still replenishing, comforting soul food. I'm grateful, as it's through these memories and these tastes that the memory of her endures, all the more so as I've made them my own. There's one more thing, and let's keep this between us. While korma sabzi is the national dish of the Iranian people and the beloved one of my mom. I don't like it very much. In the end, it was all about her, and it will always be forever about her.